The United Nations Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, meets each year to choose the latest additions to its World Heritage List. Over the past few days, the World Heritage Committee has made over 30 new choices during this year's meeting in Baku, Azerbaijan. The group chooses sites based on historical and cultural importance, as well as their beauty. Today, we look at some of the recent additions. The ancient city of Babylon is closely connected with one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Hanging Gardens. Now, the area is gaining World Heritage Site status years after Iraq began campaigning for the site's inclusion. The city on the Euphrates River is about 85 kilometers south of Baghdad. It was once a main tourist site before Iraq suffered several wars. The 4,300-year-old Babylon is where dynasties have risen and fallen since the earliest days of settled human civilization. UNESCO says the site offers a look into one of the most influential empires of the ancient world.
The historic coastal town of Parachi and the island Ilha are already popular places for visitors to Brazil's Rio de Janeiro state. Now they make up a newly named UNESCO site. Parachi was the final stop along the gold route, along which gold was shipped to Europe in the 1600s. Its port served as an entry point for tools and African slaves transported to work in the mines. The area is also home to a huge number of animals, some of which are threatened.
The ruins of Liangzhu represent an early state with a collective belief system based on rice growing, dating from 3,300 to 2,300 BCE. The site is made up of 4 areas along the Yangtze River basin on the southeastern coast of the country. The ruins, UNESCO says, are an outstanding example of early urban civilization. They include a water conservation system and social divisions represented in different kinds of burials.
The walled city of Jaipur in India's Rajasthan state is recognizable for its large public squares, palaces, markets, and pink buildings. UNESCO says Jaipur's urban planning shows an exchange of ideas from ancient Hindu as well as modern Mughal as well as Western cultures. It was founded in 1727 by a Hindu ruler who was a mathematician, astronomer, and an experienced city planner. Jaipur was designed to be a business capital, and it has held on to its local commercial, artisanal, and cooperative traditions to this day, UNESCO writes.
Myanmar's ancient city of Bagan includes more than 3,500 temples, monasteries, and other structures built between the 11th and 13th centuries. The site sits on a bend of the Ayeyarwady River in the central plain of Myanmar. Its inclusion as a World Heritage Site is likely to help the country's tourism industry. It was first nominated in 1995. Burma's then military rulers were accused of ignoring experts' advice on restoration, and the nomination was rejected. Canada's Writing on Stone Monument, known also as Isinapi, has a large number of protected rock paintings and rock carvings. Some of them are 2,000 years old. The markings were left by Blackfoot Native Americans, who live in parts of Western Canada and the far northern United States. The land that makes up Writing on Stone is filled with rock columns that have been formed by erosion into spectacular shapes, UNESCO notes. The Blackfoot people consider the area to be holy.
A group of ancient structures in the city of Pskov make up Russia's newest UNESCO World Heritage Site. The structures, many of which are churches, all were designed by the Pskov School of Architecture. It was a leading school of building design in the country, especially in the 15th and 16th centuries. Some elements common to Pskov architecture date back to the 11th century. UNESCO writes that the school informed the evolution of Russian architecture over 5 centuries. UNESCO also recognized the work of famed American architect Frank Lloyd Wright. The group added 8 of his buildings to the World Heritage List. They include the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum in New York City, Hollyhock House in Los Angeles, California, and Unity Temple in Chicago, Illinois. The World Heritage Committee said in a statement that Wright's work had a strong impact on the development of modern architecture in Europe. The Guggenheim is among Wright's most famous buildings, with its spiral path lined with works of art. It was completed in 1959, the same year Wright died. I'm Katie Weaver.
And I'm Ashley Thompson.